Oh yeah, you're gonna pick that up? Fuck yeah. Comedy, mushroom, cult, podcast. What's up, fam? We're the new face of failure. Prettier and younger, but not any better off. I got close to pulling off a Fall Out Boy high note, and the cats were sleeping, and they were not happy about it. So you're lucky you just got a little taste of me trying to sing. I'm not a good singer. You would think, like, my family has good singers in it. So you would think my fucking, if you're paying, god damn it, I did it again. Who cares? Why are we even trying to play that game? The algorithm's not gonna love it. My goddamn stand for my microphone's being all wonky. Whatever, who cares? We're gonna let it roll. Dude, to get this episode up and rolling, I had like a different setup going. I had, if you're not watching the video, this is lost on you. Like any other physical bit that I talk about on here. But like I had like a whole nother setup up here. I knocked all that shit over. I had to get up and down like 4 times. I almost forgot my little rundown sheet, so I made sure to get everything. Speaking of my rundown sheet, again, it doesn't fucking matter because I already swore, but we're doing it. We're sticking to it. I like it. 3/21. That is March 21st. That's tomorrow. I meant to look it up. I think either today or tomorrow is spring. We'll figure that out. But March 21st, if you're anywhere near Elk Rapids, Michigan, if you know where Elk Rapids, Michigan is, then you should come out to my show at Ethanology. Ethnology, because I keep saying it like Ethan, like the name, like my nephew's name. I don't know if I should put his name out there. But whatever. I mean, it happens. But it's like ethanol, like ethnology, like, you know, like alcohol. First day of spring. Where's the new face of failure? Oh, today! Spring is sprung. Bulletproof loneliness. Yeah, so today, Mazel Tov. Happy spring! Celebrate spring in Elk Rapids, Michigan tomorrow. I think that show's at 7 or 8. They changed the time a couple of weeks ago. It's right in my calendar and on my website, rayrobertscomedy.com. 3/28 to 29. That's March 28th to 29th. That's next week if we're keeping score at home. Louisville Comedy Club. If you can't guess what city that's in, don't come. My comedy's not for you. Your feelings will get hurt by me pointing out how fucking stupid you are. And then, as soon as the late show is done, if for whatever reason, if you come out to Louisville to see me and you come to the late show on Saturday, and I don't stick around to like hang out and talk to you, it's not your fault. I just am an idiot and scheduled myself. A very dumb thing, where I fly to Alaska Sunday, and maybe we'll get to it. But we fly to Alaska on Sunday, and I think that's at like 11 Central Time. And Louisville's in Eastern Time, so that show will be done. I think the second show is at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So like that show will be done at midnight, so then I'll just fly home after, or drive, I say fly home, like drive very fast. Drive home after that to get back in time to get a couple hours of sleep, maybe move things from one bag to another, and then fly to Alaska, and that'll be the Alaska Before You Die Comedy Festival. I'll be there the 30th. I mean, we'll get there on the 30th technically, but that's the 31st through the 6th of April. The 6th of April is my birthday, so if you want to send me money, send me money. Do one of those like Venmo, like at least buy me a drink things, and I don't drink, so apparently drinks, like buying me a drink in Alaska, and apparently they cost like $50 to $75 a piece. So if you want to buy me a drink, just Venmo me $50 to $75, and I'll be able to afford one drink. You know, inflation has really hit Alaska hard. But those are the dates. I just locked up a couple more dates in Abril, Mayo, but those I will announce some other time, probably next week, if I get time to do a podcast before I go out of town and be fucking stupid. I'm gonna have to bring my stuff to I'm gonna have to do it in Alaska, huh? I don't know how to do all of that stuff. Alright, first 5 minutes is done. We only said fuck like twice. What are we doing, guys? That's the, that sound is the refreshing sound of Diet Coke. It's the best pop. We're a Pepsi family here. We've gone through it, but Diet Coke just rips. There's nothing like it. I'm sorry. I know Pepsi is for the blue collar, hard workers, hard-nosed football people. This is a hard-nosed football podcast. But there's nothing better than Diet Coke, and I'm sorry, they nailed it. Shout out Taylor Swift, I guess, and just continuing to be the worst. But like I dropped in the dates. Hopefully, maybe we can get to Alaska. I teased it last week because I didn't do enough research on it. It just was like announced. I saw either the day of or day before I recorded the podcast. There is a volcano that they are giving a 50% chance of going off in the next few weeks or the next few months at the longest. And they have been recording earthquakes, like higher earthquake levels around it, and gas expulsions apparently is a big thing. So like that's a big deal. This volcano, I think I should have written it down. It's like the St. Rib or something like that. I don't think Mount Rib, Mount Rub, Mount Sur, Mount something. All right, it's 75 miles. I've seen 75. I've seen 80. But it's west of Anchorage where I'll be. And apparently last time one of these went off, there was like a couple inches of soot everywhere. And they don't know if it's gonna be like an explosion, like a big eruption that would like send ash into the air, or just like it'll start like flowing out. You know, like a hard stream. So they don't know. It's been a while since this one's gone off, so you don't know. I was just gonna be gross. You know what it's like. But no, apparently, and I didn't know this. I've heard of like other rings of fire, but I didn't realize that this was part of the Ring of Fire. Apparently. There's another Ring of Fire, or it's part of the Ring of Fire. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Was that Tony Hawk's Underground? Tony Hawk Pro Skater Street Underground, right? The one where you could run, not on your board, and you could like sketch on cars and shit. That was maybe the best one. Was that the second or third one had the people from Jackass in it? So that was super fun. But Ring of Fire was one of the songs that you could skate to, which was you don't think that it would be a very good skate song, but it is. It's actually a very good skate song on Tony Hawk. I don't think in real life, when I need to get back on the board, but when I skateboard, I usually I will listen to ska music, and it just fits. I don't know what it is. It fits the rhythm that my body works best skating. It just gives me, it's music that I don't entirely care about, so I don't have to pay super close attention. So there's that aspect to it. But anyways, there's gonna be a volcano that goes off. So like, I don't know, it would be kind of cool if it happened while we were there or right after, not right before, because our flight has already changed twice since we made it. I paid, not extra, I think it was a little bit extra. We paid extra to fly straight from O'Hare to Alaska. No layovers or anything like that, but apparently that's not a popular option to have, so they've changed it twice, and now we have a layover in Seattle, going there and back. We got it on the way back, because apparently not very many people are going to Alaska to Chicago. You would think that it would be more the inverse. More people would be coming back from Alaska to Chicago than vice versa. But I guess maybe not. Maybe that's what they just start in Alaska and then work a trip through Canada. But now we don't even want to mess with that. But that'd be cool if the volcano went off there. That's a good story to be in Alaska when a volcano goes off. And apparently orcas are in one of the bays, so that'd be super cool to go see whales. That doesn't, we wanted to go see whales, but apparently they don't get there till May, so maybe they'll be there longer. Maybe they're just warning everybody to get out of there. What they need to do is go back to sinking billionaire boats. That's what they need to do. You need to stop taking a vacation, guys. Get back to work. What's new? Oh yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day. St. Patty's Day with a D, with two D's. Double D, St. Patrick's Day. I don't know why they do it with a D, but it's apparently some Irish shit, and if we know anything, we know that the Irish, very level-headed people, very good at thinking. They like to write poetry and get hammered. That's what we need the Irish for. But like, free them, get them out of the UK or whatever, but I mean, let them live, let them have their country, let Northern Ireland be free if it wants to be. Maybe we don't need to be doing car bombs all the time, but Irish car bombs do rip. It's a very good, it's very nice that terrorism helped us get maybe the best shot of all time. Arguably. I don't know if there's even one better, because if you don't take it fast enough, it does curdle. So that encourages you to drink half a beer with a shot in it before anybody does. Well, it's a shot of like Irish cream, right? It's Bailey's and what's the other one? I keep forgetting Jameson and then Guinness. So like you don't want it to curdle, so you hammer them. I didn't have a Guinness, which I realized on St. Patrick's Day, because I wasn't out. I did 2 mics on Monday, and it's weird because we went downtown to see them do the river, turn the river green, and it was madness. There's so many fucking people in the city, and it was insane. But it was a gorgeous day for it, and just the streets were lined with people. I got pictures. I'm excited to share my end of the month little recap picture thing. But just the amount of people that were around downtown. And since I don't drink, it's not like a big holiday for me anyways. Irish Valentine's Day is what myself and Caleb Quillen, shout out Caleb, sold cars with forever ago. It's really crazy that I used to sell cars and now I just hate capitalism. So it's a very strange thing. But whatever, who cares? But no, that was fun. That was a good time. It's a very cool thing. Like, that's almost what you move to a city for, is to have like Chicago on St. Patrick's Day, or even like the first nice day, whatever. So like that's very fun. We did that, and then what I'm most excited for is actually just like selling out to like being just selling out and being a fan of things again is something that I've been getting into. Silver Sun Pickups are playing the Riviera, which is right around the corner from my apartment. They're doing that in July. I just got tickets for them yesterday. And it's one of those, like, maybe I'm getting into the nostalgia age where I'm about to be 35 in a few weeks here. And you just, like, look back. Like, 30, I was fine. I had just, like, quit drinking. And so I was like psyched about that. It was also COVID, so we were during lockdown, so there wasn't really a way to celebrate it. So like that was kind of underwhelming on what my 30th birthday was. And my 35th birthday, there's just always like, I always have a weird feeling around my birthday, and I keep getting like these bouts of melancholy if I were to be an 18th century housewife. We probably lived pretty similar lives, me and an 18th century housewife. But like, I don't know, turning 35, that's basically halfway through a life. I'm only living through to 37, so like I'm rounding up to the last couple years of my life. And I don't know, you can start to look back and you're like, fuck, 35 is like actually getting to be an adult. 30's fun, 30's cool, early 30's. Like, by 35, there's no doubt. And you think this at every age. You think by, like, 22 when you quit college, you think that you're an adult and you should make choices and have your shit together. So you get engaged to the girl who's addicted to drugs. So because you think that's what you're supposed to do. And then after that falls apart, you're like, well, whatever. This is my quarter life century, if we're going to be John Mayer about it. And then you're just like, all right, cool. Like, my late 20s are going to be for discovering myself. And then you become 30 and you're like, I should have my shit together. But, like, we're gonna delay it. We're gonna like have our shit together by the time whatever. Like we're following dreams now. It's our 30s. We know who we are and we know what we want. We can follow. And now it's 35. It's 5 years later, and you're still fucking around on the same thing, and it looks way better. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like mad about where my life is, but when you like look at it at a 5,000 foot scale, or a 10,000 foot scale, if we want to be crazy, almost 2 miles, 10,600. Wait, hold on. 11,612? 5,280. So that would be 10,600. I don't know. Who cares? Math is not what we're going to do. But you do the math at home. But whatever. We're going to look at it from 2 miles off. But it's, I don't know, I'm about to be 35. And this is like, I'm very close. I was talking to Ashley about it yesterday. I feel very close to all this shit kind of starting to break. Like, whatever that means. I don't even know what it means, but it feels close to whatever's supposed to happen. So either I'm going to get hit by a car, or like all of this shit's going to start gaining steam. But I'm like, you like look back at things, and like Silver Sun pickups, I was super into them in college. You hear like Panic Switch, whatever year that came out, when you're in high school, and you're like, this rips. And then once you get a music, there was like a music app that you could use at Kent State to stop you from, go Flashes, by the way, shout out Kent State, and fuck the National Guard. But there's just a real quick aside, there's that drunk history show that I did a couple weeks ago. They're doing one on May 4th, and it's a drunk herstory show. And so I asked if one of the girls in the green room before the drunk history show was talking about it, and she said they have one on May 4th. And I was like, could you please do one of the girls that got shot at the May 4th? And people were just like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, sorry, it's on that day. What are you gonna do? Fucking Princess Leia? And be Star Wars about it? But like, they would have like a website, right when like streaming music was like super popular and they knew that you couldn't stop it. They had to make free, legal streaming sites. And it was like the first time, Pandora was around, and iTunes was around, obviously, but it was like the first time. It was before, really, and iTunes was there, but like it was before Spotify, all of that, just like streaming shit. Fuck, I wish, like Morpheus is what you used to download songs on. There was like a streaming site that you could just stream it from, and they would have like all these discographies. So like, I don't know, I got super deep into Silver Sun pickups, and I don't know, you're 18 or 19, and you're just like you're in a spot, and like you want to like, you actually maybe have the emotional and intellectual bandwidth to like start understanding things that aren't AC/DC or fucking pop music. Like you get into the stuff that you like, so you start getting into like alt rock. And I got super into Silver Sun pickups, so I would just like sit up. There was a hill right outside of Bowman Hall. I had to look up a map of Kent State to remember what hall it was, and it was like the building that I had like all of my classes in, because that's where the political science building was Bowman Hall. And so you would just like I would sit on a hill and read and write and smoke cigars and listen to Silver Sun pickups. And I should have known that I had ADHD then. Listening to, because I had to like listen to music to be able to study or whatever, just to zone everything else out. So listening to like psychedelic alt rock from Silver Sun pickups while reading some fucking Buddhist book, because I was in my Buddhist phase, while smoking a cigar outside. You know, like sometimes you're just like, sometimes you think you're cool and you're just fucking neurodivergent. God, that's just a satisfying sip every time. But no, that's cool. And I don't know, it's one of those like, I'm leaning into the fucking, like, doing it. And every time before I do this podcast, I will put like YouTube on with like music videos. And I know that they make music videos now, but it doesn't seem like it's as popular. And I know that they make music videos now because I've seen like Sabrina Carpenter do them. I've seen like other ones are out there, but like old pop punk music videos, those were like movies. People would actually have like scripts and shit for them. Where now, like the Espresso music video, they're just like singing the song, doing like the little, if you're watching the video, I'm doing the like fucking wavy 50s thing at the beach party that they do in that music video. Or like she does a good job. What's the one? Like. Tasting Me or whatever, I don't know, the one about like how I taste, whatever, about like banging the same guy as some girl, or some girl bang, and like we're there like attacking each other and killing each other. Her and Jenny Ortega, they just like are killing each other the whole time and then realize they're not the problem, they kill it. Like there's a story in there, and like Fall Out Boy did a good job with it. Fucking like Jay-Z and Kanye like made art pieces. I mean, Jay-Z literally did for, I think, Tom Ford. He did like a MoMA thing. So like there used to be like an artistic thing behind it, where now it's just like the song and like a place. And there were those too. And you just miss it. And you're just like, well now, because like TRL was around on MTV, and I know that MTV doesn't show music. MTV showed music when we were kids, especially in the mornings and in the afternoon. Like TRL, I mean, it was just nighttime. They didn't play music. And I even feel like they said that Music TV wasn't showing music at that point, and which is, I understand that I don't even know if MTV exists anymore. But the point being, I think the last time I saw MTV, it was just re-showing Rob Dyrdek shows. It was basically like Comedy Central was the same thing, and like repeats of The Challenge. And so, which, fine, whatever. But like with TRL and the morning music videos that they would do, I mean, that's how I found most like pop punk shit, was it would be on like the morning. Or even when I was in like 2nd or 3rd grade, there would be like the fucking I know I can, Nas. And like that music video, and the Hard Knock Life music video, like all of those would introduce you to new music, where now it's like, oh, you find a song from like your Spotify fucking random thing, or it's going off on TikTok, and then they'll like make a music video for it. Where like music video, I was just watching the God damn it, why can't I remember it? It's Thanks for the Memories by Fall Out Boy. It was a big Fall Out Boy. It's always a big Fall Out Boy day, if we're being honest. That's why I'm like a lawyer stuck in my head. But Thanks for the Memories, where like, that's how, like, Kim Kardashian was like a thing, but that was like how you saw Kim Kardashian really for the first time. Because there was the internet, but like there wasn't the internet. You kind of just like had, like, she was like the hot girl that Pete Wentz was making out with at that time. Because she was like an assistant to Paris Hilton or whatever at that point, and then doing it. There's like a thing on my nose. I'm not picking my nose, I promise. There's like, I don't know, you know when you get a zit like on the rim of your nose, or like a little micro cut or something, and it just will not go away. So anytime I like a little hair from my mustache, I'll hit it and do that. But like, they make it for YouTube now, and they need to, I don't know, like, that's good for the kids, I guess. Like, what you want to do with your life is, I don't know. I just don't know how they're stars. And I understand that everybody's a star with the internet, and we don't like want to make America great again, but it would be not, like, I swear, and I think everybody feels this way, where we had the perfect technology when you were a teenager, because like that's what you were used to. But I honestly feel like we had it perfect. Like 2017, 2018, Facebook just came. Twitter, you had to text from your phone. There wasn't an app because smartphones weren't really a thing yet. Like, you could have a BlackBerry, and the first iPhone came out in 07, but like it wasn't, like, apps weren't a thing. Like, they still basically were just like very rudimentary, and using the website was better. And like, you would have to text tweets, like you would T9 text fucking Twitter, and it would be great. And like, just like texting the wrong person and T9ing them and stuff like that, which is weird. Like, I've always been a very good and moral person, but like, you would somehow, even with like a T9 text, you would accidentally text like the wrong girl, which is, and you'd have to like, and it took forever. Like, I mean, now, oh, my phone's recording this. Now you fucking like, you're just quick, like, oh, like Ashley's my number one pinned one, and if I accidentally hit the one below it and text or something, people are like, well, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's, you should know how to, and now, whatever. But then you could like, and it took 5 minutes to send a text message, especially when you're hammered and like having to look with one hand. So like you had to like really fuck up to do that, but we did it, and I don't know. So I think we had it. I think we had it perfect. Music videos were still worth something. Television was right at the perfect amount of content. You had YouTube videos, but internet was like the internet, and that was separate from the real world. Where now the internet's kind of blended with the real world, and it's made it less cool. So like you had your real life, and then you had your internet life, and now people have like blended that into like. I know that we make fun of like or we like bring up the social credit score for the Chinese, but it's basically what our social credit score is your Instagram number, and your social credit score is higher if you're worth more to the society and can sell more insurance stuff. Oh shit! I think we just found another 1984-ish. If you're not watching the video, 1984 is on the table because of one of our Hitler Watch things. Because it's crazy. But yeah, I think that's enough on music and whatnot. I just miss it. I miss being younger. I guess what we're. Oh no, didn't want to scratch that out yet. I'm not. I don't care about getting older. I'm not worried about like aging. I'm not gonna dye my hair. I'm not gonna get like hair plugs. I have started doing those like under eye moisturizer things. I think those are fine. I did, I think I talked about it, where like 2 people told me I looked, no, I haven't talked about it on here. Last week, when I did the billiard show, I showed up, and Ashley Lusk, who runs the show, she was like, oh, like you look healthy today, which is a weird thing to say to somebody, and I was like, that's great, because I'd been awake since 5:30 that morning, and I slept like shit, and felt like shit, and had to have looked it, but apparently I looked good. And then like I saw Reagan Nimola that same night, and she was like, oh, you look nice, and I was like, I feel like ass. So like, I don't know, I use those moisturizer things for my under eyes, so they must do something. But like, I'm fine with that, but I'm not gonna do, I don't know, the only other thing there's like that extra skin up here, and that's just because I want to be able to see. I might get those cut off at some point, but I don't know, we gotta be a lot more successful. Before we go into Hitler Watch, I've been forgetting to do that. Life is good, and everything is worth it, okay? This sucks, we're in a weird time, but like, would you rather be dead? I mean, some people would rather be dead. Don't kill yourself unless you really, really want to. I'm not like a big anti-suicide person. If you think it's the best choice for you, I guess go for it. Just kind of think about the people you're leaving behind and how they'll feel about it. I don't know, be very specific and like on what's going on. No, I'm just kidding. Please don't. But if you, like, whatever, who am I to tell you what to do with your life? If you want to be done with it, go for it. But, yeah, like, I was like, what is this all going towards? But no, it's all good. Like, I don't know. Like, my world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it, and I'll never get bored, you know? Like, it's all worth it, and like, at a certain point, it's just done. And whatever you whatever you believe spiritually, like, this life is done. Whatever, and then you're just done, you know? Like, it can always get better. It can always get worse, I guess, but like, you're still in the game. Fucking keep going. Like, this is all worth it. People are setting Teslas on fire, you know? Like, things are coming around, kind of. Still, would love to be added to the group text, however we're doing it. Add me. I've got nothing to do during the day, most of the time. So if we're doing like a Tuesday afternoon protest, let me know. I can make it. But no, so there's the positivity. And then we'll do this before Hitler Watch, because I'm like pretty sure most people turn it off before then. I would love to see those statistics, but it doesn't matter. This day 5 years ago during COVID, since I thought of that last week. It's not on the exact day. It would have been the 18th and the 19th. 5 years ago. All right. Now remember, this is very soon after, we're not gonna say that COVID, I mean, we know that COVID was created in a lab, all right? We know that now. Even the CDC has come out and said it's more than likely that it came from a lab leak at this point. So a lot of people owe a lot of apologies. But, very weird. I mean, this is a good thing. The CDC asked for blood donations. I actually really remember this, that we were very low on blood because they couldn't go and do like blood banks and shit, because they couldn't go into public very much. So they asked people to go to the hospital and donate blood. But like, you couldn't go donate. I don't know how that they were gonna get more blood, but they wanted you to donate more blood. You weren't a lot of places you weren't supposed to. Like California put in their lockdown, I think on the 17th or the 18th. I saw there's a site that the CDC has of like the timeline of everything that happened. But like the CDC asked for blood donations. I don't know if you're just supposed to do it at home and put it in a Ziploc and then like drive past your local hospital and throw it at them and like just like write what blood type it is and they catch it. I don't know how you were supposed to do it, but you were supposed to. But this is the weird one. All right, it was the 18th or the 19th, not the 20th. It wasn't officially spring yet, but Moderna was already doing human trials of their COVID vaccine in March of 2020, and it took them a while to get it. Remember, because that didn't come out until I guess it was still quick, middle end of 2020. Because I remember I got mine early-ish. And that might have been September, October, maybe a little earlier. I don't remember, because I remember people weren't going to do comedy until they got the vaccine. But the timing is real wonky, and you weren't paying attention to it then, because if you were anti-vax, you were insane at the time. Which is, I mean, it's still kind of insane. I got the vaccine and I had the 3 doses that we were supposed to get. I'm sure we're supposed to have at least another 20 by now, or 10, but I'm just not going to. But it's like anybody who said that they weren't going to get vaccinated were seen as a nut. So you don't even really look into how late March, when it right before we even had a nationwide shutdown, or before we even had a real stand in place, before we were even supposed to be wearing masks, that's when they were already working on the Moderna human trial vaccine, which is very strange timing. It's very strange, very strange. That surprised me. That's a very weird time to already be on human trials. So that means that they had already had to be working on that whatever. And Moderna was one of the ones I think that actually didn't work or got you hurt. That's very strange. But I don't know. That's your COVID update 5 years later. This day COVID. Woo 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 woo. All right, now we're to it. We're doing Hitler Watch. Oh no, this pen exploded. That's the problem. That's why it's not working. Probably me fucking around with it too much. I'm like, why is this pen ass at writing? These are usually really good, but no, the pen exploded. Is it on me? No, it's just inside. Oh, cool. Hitler Watch. Wee woo wee woo. Today, depending on when you're listening to this, it might have already happened, but today is supposed to be the day. Now that they have famed educator Linda McMahon, who's the head of the Department of Education, the wife of famous sexual predator Vince McMahon, who ran the WWF, and the WWF then got sued by the World Wildlife Foundation, and then became WWE, and then he got ousted because of a big allegation suit against him. So his wife is now the head of the Department of Education, and apparently today they are going to shut down the Department of Education or start working on that. Trump is supposed to be signing that today on Thursday the 20th. They've been teasing it for a while, but then they also had the Department of Education looking into colleges for DEI purposes, so you would think that it was still going to keep running for a while, because why would you give them a task and then shut them down? But that's also part of the problem, is they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just starting whatever. Especially after the judges last week are making them put more than 24,000 jobs back into fucking starting it. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, who cares? but like shutting down the Department of Education is, I don't like. Obviously, it funds a lot of things. We're pro Department. Fucking Ashley has been a teacher, administrator, the entire time I've known her. Whatever. It's very important to us, making sure that the youths of the future are going educated in a good way. But like school lunches, or fucking any sort of school funding, all that shit usually comes from the Department of Education, like billions of dollars. So if you have a child, you are going to be directly affected by this. And whether or not you think, like, I know if you're fucking red pilled and you voted for Trump and you're one of those fucking losers who doesn't have a kid or has a kid who just left school or is already out of school, you think like it's a good thing because the government shouldn't be controlling what your kid is learning. Which like people will be. It's a. I took a pre-antebellum South class in college. Shout out Kent State. Shout out Bowman Hall. And it like the first public school was in Philadelphia. It was in the 1800s, obviously, for pre-antebellum or antebellum South. Maybe that was before. Whatever. It was before the Civil War. They were already doing public schools, and like from the jump, people were against public schools because they thought that like a centralized government would be, I don't know, teaching their kids shit that they didn't want them to know. Like they thought that like a school teaching them things that weren't like right, like they didn't have enough religion in school. So like the same arguments that we're having now have been going on for like 200 years by psychopaths. So I mean, it's not like a real surprise that if we're gonna roll everything back and like shut down all of government, that they'd get rid of this. But they have also been running people for school board forever. Like I think in 2012, 13, 14 is when I ran that campaign. Yeah, so I think it had to have been 12 or 14. They were running somebody who had been homeschooled and homeschools their children to be on the Portage County Board of Education, like the school board. And they were just like, this person doesn't even, like they're in there to tear down the school board and to tear down like the public schools, which is what they want. They want to privatize it so people can make money off of it and you can control what your kids are learning. Which I mean, I don't know, with the advent of the internet, all of the knowledge is out there, but it's still important to be, maybe the most important part of public schools is kind of being around people who aren't like you, but that's not what they want. So, which comes to our next thing, which is why the 1984 book is out, because 1984 shit is happening, and it's one of those things that like you talk about and you get kind of worried about, and then like you're just like whatever, that it won't get that crazy, but it is that crazy. Like I remember being at the Library of Congress at some point in college, and they were telling us how they're like trying to digitize everything, which is great. Because just in case there's like a fire, like you want it to be able to live forever. But then you can also like change it. Anybody who's got like a favorite TV show or like a favorite book or favorite music, sorry, my throat's getting scratchy and dry. But like, you know, let's say you own The Office on DVD and then you watch it on streaming now. It's different because they have different rights and whatnot than they used to have. Streaming rights are different than DVD rights. So they changed shit. Like I was watching The Office, the Pennsylvania Dutch episode, where Nate is supposed to be Black Peter, I think his name is, and he walks in like real crazy blackface. And like they were like, well, that's a step too far, and then they text him and he turns back around. But then you see him later with like the remnants of the blackface on. They completely pulled out the blackface part, and they showed him with like the remnants of the blackface. So they completely altered it and changed it. Which fine, whatever. Times change, humors change. Maybe blackface isn't the best idea to do, but like they were making fun of this, whatever. That may be like the one time that blackface is not appropriate, but like can be used as a tool to point things out to society and how crazy some things are. But like they changed it. Or when Kanye West was like fucking around with his stuff online, when he didn't even release things on like CD for the like Christian album, that's like changed like 4 or 5 times because he like would update it and, excuse me, like he would change it and update it and blah blah So like you can change it and like alter it, and that's what like they're trying to do. They are going back through the Pentagon's like website and shit, and like completely trying to delete minorities out of like the service of the armed forces. And we're not like a pro-war podcast at all, and we don't. War sucks. War is very stupid. I'm reading a book actually right now that kind of shows that like we fucked ourselves by spending most of our time and money on fighting each other versus being ruled by like the book is about how like a Roman battle happened and like basically one guy beat another guy in this famous Roman battle. I don't remember currently, and then like that broke up Rome. But in this alternate reality, they actually the good guys won and Rome stayed together, and so there was just like a Roman like the Romans were still in charge like 1500 years later. So like you would see like there's an overarching like monoculture versus and like they would let people like keep their cultures, blah blah blah, but like there was like a ruler versus like everybody fighting each other to figure out who the ruler was. Like they'd known who it was, so they could spend that money on science and whatnot. So it's kind of looking at like when you put the people in charge, like things can happen, versus if you have like a despotic leader, it can be good, but like overall it's not good. You know, whatever. It's kind of one of those looks at things, and it's very fun and interesting. But the point of this is like they're saying that like we use things to like kill each other instead of like bettering humankind, which is fair and true. But also like I don't know, I kind of feel it's the same thing of like I would rather let 1,000 murderers free than kill one non-murderer, if that makes sense. I can live with 1,000 murderers being on the streets if it makes sure that nobody gets killed by the state. What I can't live with is innocent people getting killed, right? So it's kind of one of those things where we don't like war, but like I don't know. Sometimes it's not, like if somebody's I don't know genociding 6 million Jews, or like I don't know. I would say if we were like an actual good country, if somebody's going in and taking over Ukraine or Palestine, we should stop that. Like that might be worth using military action against. But other than that, I don't think really we should, or maybe even the Uyghurs in China. But like there are very few reasons to go to war or like exert physical force on people. Starting killing the billionaire class, like having a legitimate war against them. But like, so we shouldn't like. These are heroes that like helped us, and it's not like these are people who they like took off of here, and they called it a DEI medal when they tried to go to this guy, and I'll say it was Major General Charles Calvin Rogers. He was a major general in Vietnam, and he got his Medal of Honor in 1970 from Richard Nixon, and at that point he was the highest ranking black soldier to ever get the Medal of Honor. And so when they went through and were like deleting all of these pages, somebody went to like look at his, and it was like one of those 404 this web page cannot be found errors, and in the URL they changed it to say DEI medal. So they took down this major general who won the fucking Medal of Honor, like the highest honor that you can get being in the military. They took him down and said it was a DEI medal from 1970. And yes, it was done by like large swaths with like an AI check, but also if we're being sold that Elon Musk is a genius, right? So if he's doing all of this like haphazardly and real shitty, and then they have to go through and fix all of this shit, I understand it's easier just to knock everything down and then build back what you need to build back, but like, be smart about it. And you're supposed to be the smartest person in the world. Like, that was your jam, like 10 years ago. You were this fucking mega billionaire genius, sending people to the moon, making cars that didn't kill the earth. Like, what the fuck happened? I understand that you were banging weird chicks, and like named your kids fucking binary code shit, and like found drugs, but like, you gotta get to a certain point where you just go insane and then nobody can fight against you, and that's what's happening. But like, he's supposed to be the smartest person like ever, and he's a fucking idiot. And this is how they also, In World War II, this is the one that kills me the most. When Japanese people were already, because Trump enacted the same thing that they enacted in World War II. It's basically like this wartime act of like, if somebody is from an area, so like this one is like, for World War II, it was Japanese people. If you had Japanese descent, they could use this wartime thing to round you up and put you in internment camps. Which, like, I guess that's closer to, like, actual, I mean, if we want to look at Roosevelt during World War II, that looks a lot like fascism and probably closer, but, like, I don't know, it seems like he used it for good. I'm not saying putting people in internment camps is good, but, like, if you look at fucking, like, Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus and, like, was keeping people in jail without trial for a long time. I feel like that's worth it when people are fighting against slavery, or fighting for slavery. You need to keep them in jail. When like the Japanese fucking come and like suicide bomb places, and you're not sure of who's in there, maybe keeping an eye on them is like a great idea. But also like maybe don't put them into internment camps and do like all that crazy shit. All right, we're all on the same page. But he's doing that right now with like Venezuelan gang members, and I'll get to that. That's fun how that actually works into it. But like the 442nd Regimental unit in World War II was a Japanese-American regiment that was made up of 4,000 people, and they got rid of, like they deleted these people off the website. It's back now. But like they deleted them off the website. So Japanese-American people in World War II fighting for America, they had to, it was a regiment of 4,000 people that 14,000 people ended up, about 14,000, not exactly on the nose, 14,000 people ended up being in this regiment because from that one regiment, 9,486 members of that regiment won the Purple Heart, which is a medal that you get for getting hurt in battle. My grandfather got one. Great-grandfather, not grandfather, but like great-grandfather was a POW in an internment camp, or not an internment, like a POW in like and was like tortured and shit in World War II, and he got a Purple Heart. So like that's what you get. And then there were, like I said before, the 21 Medal of Honor winners. So 21 people got the highest award possible, and they just like went through and deleted these people off of the site, which is just, I don't know. It's 1984. It's changing shit, and that's like what legitimate, like you're changing history to make it fit what you want it to look like and what you want it to be. You're making it seem like, and like he fired I think she was a black woman from the chief of staff, not the chief of staff, the, what's the word I'm looking for? The, whatever, like his main, like the people that are supposed to be on his advisory board, whatever the fuck you're supposed to call that. I'm losing it right now. Joint Chiefs of Staff, that's what it is. Golly, I knew it was most of it. Like they fired some black lady who was part of the Joint Chiefs, and maybe she was Asian. Like they fired her, another random black dude, they fired him from, like they're trying to make it like all white and crazy. And you have a guy who was like grown up and benefited from fucking splitting everything up in South Africa doing this. And it's, what's the word I'm looking for? The fucking thing that Nelson Mandela was doing. Apartheid. Like, you have a guy who benefited from apartheid, like, running this shit. And they used the American South to run it. So, like, we know how they're, like, whatever. And it's just happening. And I don't know how we stop it, but it's not gonna be forever. But it's like funny how people are like, this person in 2028 is gonna help us. We're not making it to 2028 to vote for president. It's not gonna happen. Because, and it's happening right now, where he's like over, like last week we were excited that the courts were getting involved. And because of this Wartime Act, he actually deported 250, I think the number was, Venezuelan gang members. Now, if they're actually part of this gang, whatever, fine. Maybe they're dangerous. They need to get out of the country. We don't want criminals in the country. They shouldn't be allowed in here, whether they get here legally or illegally. Now, if somebody's like protesting in a manner that we don't like, that's not when we get rid of them. Bringing drugs and violence and like raping and murdering, sure, that's fine. Get that, like that's, we should by due process get them out. But he deported 250 Venezuelans not to Venezuela because they wouldn't take them, and a judge fucking put a fucking order out to stop him from doing that, and he just went and did it anyways under this wartime act that they did like the internment camps under. So he's just like doing whatever he wants, and now is like they're parts of like huge lawsuits, and like we're about to see what's going to happen. Because like even John Roberts on the Supreme Court came out, no relation, hopefully. Like John Roberts came out, I think he's the Chief Justice currently still. He came out and like publicly said that Trump is like not doing things, like because Trump came out and said that they should fire and replace the judge that told them not to do this. And John Roberts came out and it's like, this is even too far for us. So he's becoming too far for all these fucks, but none of them are stopping him. The Democratic Party helped sign their budget to pass last week because Chuck Schumer's a fucking, he's a coward. The Democrats are all cowards. Every single one of them in office right now is a coward. That's just what it is. If you voted Democrat any point in your life, and that's including me, you voted for cowards, because none of them, absolutely none of them, in any form of government are doing anything about it. So, I don't know. Fuck them. And we should make them afraid just as much as Republicans. And I don't know, we should hold everybody's feet to the fire on it, because yes, it's easy to put the target on the back of the Republicans doing all of this shit, but it's also like, who's more at fault? The person who let it happen or the person doing it? And the Democrats are letting it happen. So like, they're implicated in this as well, and honestly, it almost feels like they were part of making this happen, because you can't just be that inept for that many years in a row, and be and just like still run a government. I don't know. Now I'm flustered. Now I'm mad. But I think that's enough time. Remember, it is life's good, and it's all worth it. Everything's worth of it. All of it is worth it. All right, it's worth all of it. But no, we're gonna get this wrapped up. Get this out to you. Thank you guys again for listening. RayRobertsComedy.com, at RayRobertsComedy on everything. And remember, things are very expensive in Alaska, like $50 to $75 for one beer. So Venmo me, Ray Roberts Comedy. If you want to cash app it, Ray Roberts Comedy. But no, I'm kidding. So thank you guys for this. Like, share, subscribe, and love you. Bye.